Hey guys, how is everybody? Woo, man. I'm coming to you with wet hair and a shower, and we're about to get in the car and go drive to the lake. But first, team call. How is everybody? Good? Thumbs up? Let me see if Isabelle is on yet. I don't think so. All right. Go ahead and try to mute yourselves if you can. That way, as she's talking, we don't have a bunch of kickback on the recording. And if you guys have any, like specific questions as we're going, feel free to drop them in the chat. I had gone over, or I had asked her, or asked you guys a bunch of, or just like a post, I think maybe a month ago, and I asked you guys just to share any types of questions that y'all had about Shakeology or, Daily Sunshine, things like that. And so you guys, I'll ask those questions. And so that's pretty much primarily what she's going to go over. And then if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and just put them in the chat bar, say hi to her, all that kind of stuff. But I'm super excited for us to have her, have Isabelle on with us tonight. It's a super big honor. So when she is ready, I will let her start. But first of all, just want to say hi. It's good to see you guys. Normally we do our live videos, our live team calls in the team page. So we have more of those coming up. Tonight's a little bit different. It's not like a specific training, but I guess it is on Shakeology. So that is really, really important. Shakeology is kind of like the bread and butter of our business. So that is one of the things that we have the opportunity to create belief in, which is really cool. And it's something that creates that long lasting belief in what we get to do as coaches and in Beachbody and the products that we have. So, that's why it's super exciting. Ooh, we get to talk about it tonight. So it's the 15th of the month, which means that it's halfway through the year or the month. Wow, I cannot think. I think I'm still on a high for my workout. P.S. Anyone do what's the workout today? Leg day. I literally am shaking. Are you guys still shaking? I could not feel my body after that. I'm still sweating. Oh man, it was so intense. This phase is for sure the hardest for me personally, at least. It's a really hard mental game for me. And it was in the test group too. And I think a lot of you guys are feeling that as well. I'm seeing. So, and I see half of you guys eating your dinner, which is really good. Tara, I see you right there. That's awesome. But anyways, okay. So today is the 15th of the month. So that's halfway through the month. So you guys saw me post the Success Club board yesterday, which was super awesome. It was so exciting to see how many of you guys have already been helping people on their journey, which is really, really powerful. And so for me personally, I try to kind of make my goal for the 15th of the month of how many people I want to have helped by that date. And then by the 30th or the 31st, that last week of the month. And that kind of helps me not to wait till the last second of the month to help some people. So congrats to you guys who are already well on your way with those goals. And hopefully if you're not, you can be thinking about going through your list of 100 people or going through your friends on Facebook and Instagram and really figuring out who is there, because there is somebody, whether you know it or not, that you can actually help this month, because that is what we get to do as coaches, which is super, super, super cool.
Okay.
Anyone there?
Isabelle is here under Bella Lorca.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm looking for, there you are. Hi. I'm trying to find you. I know they told me that. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. We're so honored to have you here. That's perfect timing. I was done just chit-chatting. So, but you guys, this is Isabelle. She's a co-creator of Shakeology, Carl Daikeler's bride. You guys know who she is. And we are so, so grateful to have her just talking to us tonight. So I had shared a couple questions, Isabelle, with you that the team had just asked when I just said, what do you guys want to know about Shakeology or Daily Sunshine or anything like that? And so feel free to share with us whatever you feel led to share, whether it's those questions or just anything that has been really powerful I know you've been doing lots and lots of calls for all of us coaches, which is so generous.
Great. It's fantastic. We're here to serve.
Oh, well, we love it. So
I want you to go through your questions first to make sure that everybody's questions are answered. And then if we have extra time, then we'll just ask them.
Great. That sounds good. So you guys obviously keep yourselves muted for now so that we can hear her, but feel free to drop any questions that come to mind in the chat. That way we can actually see them really, really easily, and then you guys can talk and ask them after. So do you want me to go through the questions, or do you have them?
Go for it.
Okay,
And I love to, I'm trying to introduce our gang at the Beachbody Company, the lab, our white coats. So very often I'll ask them to answer in their own words some of the questions so you guys can get to know them.
Cool.
Doing that. So I think I need my glasses. Shakeology is good, but not that good.
Doesn't cure the eyesight. Me too. I still need glasses.
Not yet. Maybe over time. Who knows?
Something to work on.
Yeah. I got two of them that I asked hello Carl, Mike to answer. So when we get to them, I'll read their the answer that Mike got me, and then we can extrapolate on it as we wish.
Okay, great. That sounds awesome.
List, because I have the list, but it's right here. So why is sugar the second ingredient in Daily Sunshine? It's actually the third one. I double checked because I was like, I think it's the third one. It is the third. But I want Mike to answer, and then I'll babble if you want. So he says, great question. Organic cane sugar is actually the third ingredient in Daily Sunshine, which I understand still looks high. We use a wide array of fruits and vegetables to provide a broad spectrum of phytonutrients that are highly concentrated since the water has been removed. Although the combined level of dried fruits and vegetables far exceeds the level of added organic cane sugar, since they are listed individually, most fall after organic cane sugar on the ingredient list. So it's the added that it shows, so as the third, but really the amount of sugar is the combination of mostly the fruit and vegetable blend and some organic cane sugar to make it taste palatable so that kids will want it. So basically it's very difficult when you formulate a formula, that's repetitive, but I didn't know what other word to use. It's very challenging if you use only the fruit and vegetables from the food itself. It's not enough to round up a flavor because of all the other stuff, or because of the kind of taste you'll get with just these natural sugar from the food. Often that will not mask all of it so that it's palatable, so especially for kids, so they want to have it, but even adults. And yet you can't just do stevia, because there are challenges with formulating with only stevia or monk fruit. There's challenges in the way that it blends, but also in the taste that most people would not like. And we get that a lot especially me, when I try cooking with just stevia. I'm used to it, but most people around me will like, that's a little funky at the end from the stevia. I don't like it. So most people will need to round up the flavoring with a normal sugar, but we don't want white sugar. So the organic cane sugar, which is non-GMO, which is why we removed the beet, because we're realizing everyone across the board in the business realize that now most of the beet is GMO, and that's a big no-no for us. So this, we can make sure it's organic. It's also a natural plant. We're not synthesizing it. So you have to sort of use a little bit of everything, but we always make it mostly from the food itself. And then we do what we need to do between the stevia and the organic cane sugar, whether it's the Shakeology or the Daily Sunshine. We make sure that if we did only organic cane sugar, it might add up the calories too much, which is why we add some stevia and monk fruit. So we use a little bit of everything, proprietary blend, to make sure that it tastes good, and it's also low in calories. Does that make sense? And also low glycemic, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does. I don't remember whose question that was. I think it might have been Mary Catherine, but she's not on the.
There's a lot of people asking the sugar question.
I know. Well, that's the second question I think that you have too, is why the switch to cane sugar and Shakeology now in Daily Sunshine. Yeah, so same thing. And that's as well with Energize too now, correct?
Of course, because also in terms of formulating, it's very challenging. If every single formula has a different blend, it's very challenging when we have 60 plus ingredients. So we're really trying to find a system within the company that makes it more doable, but it's also the best option that we have as of now. As you've lived with us, if you've been with us for a while, there are changes. And that's because it's very lazy to sort of not really reveal some of the stuff that happens behind the scene in the formulation world, right? Of vendor and suppliers and farming. There's a lot of fluctuation and changes and things we discovered that we didn't know. And we change because we're transparent with you. So we tell you the truth and we change. And if we couldn't get something to the quality that we wanted, then we don't do the shift. But once we get what we want to the levels, to the high quality level standards that we like, then we do the shift. So this is why Shakeology changes here and there. And we're hoping to continue having better resources, better vendors, better suppliers, if it exists, when it happens, or getting ingredients back that we had to let go of because we were not happy with the quality of it, the potency of it, or the bioavailability of it. So it's alive. Shakeology is alive, and we hope to continue having the opportunity to make changes to make it better one way or the other. So whenever we can, we do it. It's a lot easier not to change, not to tell you guys and keep it as this year after year after year. But all of us like a good challenge.
That's great. We have to continue to evolve. Anyone have any questions about
that? Wait. I think, where is that answer? It was the question. I'm going to go straight to both because I have Mike's stuff in front of me.
Yeah, you go. You just
ask him to answer number 5.
Okay.
I want his feedback. Do you want to read it for me? Because you have no accent. It'll be clear.
The question? Sure. The question was, I'd love to know more about ingredient sourcing. Since it's not organic, what is their standard for determining quality? Sustainable practices, growing practices, and ingredient is only as good as its growing conditions. I don't mind that it's not organic, since organic growers can still neglect important things like soil quality, which determines nutritional value of the food, and some non-organic growers use way better practices. But it would be nice to know more about this. Since the ingredients are sources around the world, what is their stance on fair trade? It says that there aren't fair trade certified, but value those practices. What does that mean for how they make sourcing decisions?
Okay.
That was the overall question.
I'll now read. It's a long question.
I know. It keeps going and going and going.
It's longer than the answer. So Mike says, ensuring the quality and integrity of our products is a very involved task. At Beachbody, we search the world over for the best quality ingredients. Before anything makes it into our shakes, hundreds of hours of work go into vetting and testing both the ingredient and the supplier. This helps ensure that each new ingredient is of the highest quality and complements what's already in Shakeology. We ensure that Shakeology is manufactured in strict adherence of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration good manufacturing practices, and we spend millions of dollars every year on auditing our suppliers, qualifying ingredients, testing every ingredient's lot when it arrives. That's just before you get it, before we seal it and we ship it to you. We test it then as well. When it's received, and finally the finished product in every bag of Shakeology is thoroughly tested before it is ever released for sale to our customers to ensure that it meets our exacting specification. Our tests included identity testing to ensure the ingredient is what it's supposed to be, purity to look for contaminants such as heavy metals, pesticides, or other unwanted substances, sensory to ensure the color, flavor, odor, texture are consistent and will meet our customers' high standards, and 4, microbiological to ensure safety is never compromised. Nothing is released for sale until it is all confirmed that the product meets these requirements.
Great. That was a very thorough answer.
So really we test all. We test the soil, we test the ingredients over there, we test once it's powdered, we test and quarantine once it arrives here, and then we test each lot again, and we test for all the things she mentions. We test ourselves with our team when we can, as you saw, when we can, we get the certification, but we don't trust, as she says, just a certification. So we have our team in order for us to know exactly what is in it. Something happened recently. Oh, it's been a while now. It was not reishi, I don't think. It was a mushroom. And people just realized that 70% of that ingredient on the market was actually not what it claimed to be. And we knew, and ours was real because we test ourselves, because we don't rely on someone else's words or stamps or, words, really. I don't want to get too deep in politics, but that's why we have our own team, so we can test all that. And we're very proud because we have very personal relationship with all of them. We do have dozens of people traveling all around the world, meeting these farmers, the suppliers, the vendors, talking to them. We know each other. We actually have shook hands and know each other personally. So those relationships are precious to us, and we do all we can to keep the integrity of it going year after year after year. So I don't know if the person who asked that question is online, but if she has any more questions, please ask.
Does anyone have any questions about that? You can feel free to unmute yourself. I'm trying to see. I don't think I see anyone. I love this. Hopefully this is just, I know for me, it just creates more belief, in Shakeology and how incredibly just picky you guys are with everything that you do, and which is really, really empowering. I love that.
And that's something, like when I read that, like I almost wish people would record this is why, because I'm not American, right? Sometimes I like to read the way Mike answers the question.
I know, yeah.
Very official. It's very professional. It has all the technical wordings that you guys need. And I love giving it to you like that. And I hope that you record it. And if I were you, I would then write it down. And that would be something that I would read or share over and over again with whomever you're talking to until it's almost second nature, right? Absolutely. And because what I just expressed to you, that's one of the main difference between what's out there at times and our shake. That's the crux of it. That's the preciousness of it. That's what's so amazing about Carl's decision-making years ago that got us Darren and I on board, is that we knew that he would keep his word, and he has, on allowing this process to be constant. We're hyper-vigilant. That's the big deal. That means that what you have is alive, is potent, is bioavailable, that it actually does what it claims to do on the bag. That means that our rice is not coming from China, highly contaminated. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't have to be written in the bag. That's the stuff that really matters. And so if you see rice protein or pea protein, but there's nothing, you don't know the company. How many companies, nothing letting you know what's up behind the scene? Like, how many companies do you know that you have access to the formulators the way you guys do every day? That Paul puts his face every day in front of the camera, has live groups where he puts his words on the line. How many of you have the other formulators of the shakes and our products that will personally answer dozens and dozens of emails a day just regarding questions like that we personally get? I don't know any other company that's out there so personally involved in this process with you. Of course, it sets us up to tons of, doubt and attacks and all that, but that's okay. We're still here. We're still showing up for you guys. And, we are putting this message there over and over again in a Zoom call because we really want that to be gotten. And we're working on projects right now with Luigi, who you may know, who is our guy. He's so good. We're trying to convey that in a way that we can share with you that very message, because when you say what's the difference, that's the difference. And we are trying to find a way to make that crystal clear, and we hope we can do that soon. So when you are being asked what's the difference, you have to have this little speech. You have to have that checking, knowing the vendor, the suppliers, the farmers personally, testing the soil, quality research, safety testing, all the stuff that I just shared with you. That should be in your head. That should be printed somewhere next to your computer. Like you go straight to it, because that's the crux of it. If you want to tell someone the difference, that's the main difference. Of course, there's the synergy of all the ingredients, the high level of the fiber, the probiotic, the prebiotic that enhances your body to extract, assimilate, process the food itself, which is something that very often people are missing in their diets. Like all the adaptogen mushrooms, the super fruits, the super veggies, the super greens, all that stuff is part of the beauty of the Shakeology. But we could have that printed on the bag. It's the quality and the level, the high standard level that we have for each ingredient and how it's being processed. The delicate high technology that is utilized in order to take what we want from those fruit, vegetable, mushrooms, protein. It's what the constituents that we want from these elements without the stuff we don't want, and allowing that to be processed in a delicate way that doesn't destroy any of that balance. All that is the magic of Shakeology. That's like eating an apple that's got no nutrients whatsoever because the soil was so depleted, forced to grow, compared to a juicy, real apple with all the good stuff in it. And when you bite into it, you can actually taste the difference. I don't know if you guys have done this taste test, but I do it all the time when I have a fruit that is obviously GMO or just not really that great. It's bland. It doesn't taste like anything, as opposed to something real, especially when I go to Italy, somewhere in Europe, and I taste the fruit and vegetable. I don't know if you guys have had that experience, but like the cheese, like everything is just delicious. That's the difference. It's basically what's happening in that little scoop of powder, except that you can't taste the powder itself, but that is the exact same thing. It's that same revelation, and that's the work we go through in the labs that makes such a big difference. That's it. Like, that's the main message, guys. Does that make sense?
I see lots of shaking of heads. It sounds so beautiful. I know. They are asking some questions over here, so I guess we could look at some of those. I know they're asking about just Shakeology and Daily Sunshine in general. I have a very young team, so we have lots of young kids.
Oh, yes,
So asking lots of questions about, why is there that age level on Daily Sunshine, and, how young can a kid be to have some Shakeology? What is your take on that? And I would love to know too, because I have young kids as well.
Yes, that's a good question. So the Daily Sunshine the common denominator between the Daily Sunshine and Shakeology is that they're both from whole food, and all that I've discussed with you, we go through the same process, obviously, with the Daily Sunshine. But they're both based on whole food. So technically, it is food, Daily Sunshine. So bring it to your doctor, bring the bag, let him look at the ingredients. I would think personally that he would give you the thumb up. It's food, and you recognize every ingredient on the shake. The Daily Sunshine was specifically designed for kids 4 years and up, because younger than 4 years, they're considered toddlers. And then younger than that, infant, right? And so their requirements are different, obviously. And so it was designed, that is why the age difference for 4 years and up, because of their requirement, because of the age difference. That's it. Daily Sunshine was really designed to help families with the challenge that we encounter with kids. All the very basic foods we know they need in order to grow strong and healthy and vital. And we know, as mothers, are the hardest one to get them to eat, except for a few lucky ones. once in a while I meet and they're like, oh, my kids love asparagus. I'm like, what? So bless their hearts. They're blessed with, a little moment there of ease. But most of us have a hard time getting these very basic foods that we know is the foundation to their well-being. And we can't get it in. And it's very challenging when they start going to school, even kindergarten. They're surrounded by very happy, fun, colorful, super sugary food. All the kids love it, and they see the commercials. It gets harder and harder to influence them to go that way and not the sugar, chemical, GMO way. So the Daily Sunshine was specifically designed to bring high level of fruit, vegetable, protein, fiber, fat, best snack in the world, but it's really food in the disguise of a snack, and combined together in a shake form that tastes like a smoothie, like a milkshake, because we know they have to love it in order to want to reach for it. So all of that was our main focus. Also, we've had a lot of kids that will drink some of the Shakeology, but not all of it. So because it's not as perfected to their taste buds. So sometimes it's a little funkiness if you don't dress it really well. They'll just have so much, so they don't get the full dose. The Daily Sunshine, most of them finish the whole thing. And it's designed for them. And that's the difference. Does that mean they can't have Shakeology? Of course not. But we do get pediatricians who are busy wanting the ingredients of the Daily Sunshine into these kids' bodies. And when they look at the Shakeology, there's so much stuff that's not their fruit, vegetable, fat, protein, probiotics, that, they're looking for what they know. And they don't know some of that stuff. And sometimes they don't approve just because they don't know. And I don't blame them. As we know now, I think we're talking about that more and more on Zoom calls, that doctors get, 4 hours of nutrition class in their years and years of study. So there's a balance there to be had. So I was looking at all of that. I was looking at something that also did not need to be dressed up. So the Daily Sunshine, you don't need to put anything in it. Cold liquid of any kind will make it super yummy right away. It's rare that most of us don't dress up the Shakeology, especially for kids. Now, you can also dress it up if you want. Also, just between you and I, all you guys, the Daily Sunshine sweetness means you can put a lot of stuff that they won't taste at all. You can put spinach, you can put kale, and you don't have to put a whole bunch. Be careful, each kid is different, add a little bit at a time, but you can sneak a whole lot in there because it is so sweet and so delicious all by itself. As opposed to the Shakeology for kids, all the ingredients, the greens, the adaptogen might pick up on the kale and enhance the kale taste. It doesn't dress up quite as easily. For us, yes. For them, they're picky. After all, we did use marketing as picky eaters, right? Obviously, it's also delicious for parents. I have it every day, all the time. Carl has it as a snack in the afternoon because he has meetings after meetings after meetings, and he's not in the mood for a second Shakeology. And sometimes all he can do is pour cold liquid and shake. I also designed a shaker. My kid helped with the choosing of the design to make sure, and by I mean the gang, the marketing. I don't want to take away their work in there. So that it was very appealing to them, better grip for them, that they could make it themselves. They have a little container at the bottom they can drink from. So it's very easy for them to go to the fountain, put cold water, shake, it's done. It was with all these very important elements that if they don't have time to eat breakfast, you can just make a shake and go, or give it to the kid in the car and go. All these emergency, and God knows parents, we constantly, I remember one morning my kid literally dropped his foot on the carpet 3 times. I would cook it 3 times. I don't even understand how you can do that. 3 times. And then we had to go. Daily Sunshine to the rescue. I have tons of real story like that, my own and others. I often share that my kid loves, I'm trying to speak correct English. My kid loves pasta, but he has a very sensitive blood sugar. So I don't like to give him just carbohydrates. So what I'll do is I said, you can have pasta if you have your Daily Sunshine before. And he's like,
Okay. Gee, Mom, what a punishment.
Mom, you're so nice. So, all these little moments, I also, in the back of my head, I had in mind all the autistic kids, the kids on the spectrum, who are very sensitive to color, to texture, to smell, to taste. It's very difficult to feed these kids. I've gotten hundreds of mothers. I couldn't market to that, of course, but in the back of my head, because I've worked with a lot of those kids and I love them, I wanted to provide something that would appeal to them as well, but I couldn't talk about that. And thank God, like, the intent was there, because I got hundreds of videos of these mothers dealing with autistic kids or kids on the spectrum, that the kids loved it. So that made me super happy, and I felt like, all right, we did it. So, I could go on and on, but the building blocks, the foundation of what your little growing bodies need to be vital, to grow up healthy, is in the daily sunshine. Does that mean that Shakeology is not good for them? Of course not. But it was more specifically for them.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I hope, does anyone have questions still after that? I feel like that. So they're asking, so could a child 1 to 3 years old have like a third of it or half of it, or like the whole serving, and just ask your doctor? I know me personally.
Listen, legally, I have to say, bring the bag to your doctor, which I have no problem with, because the doctor is going to love it. And make the decision. I legally cannot tell you that a child below 4 can have it. Keep in mind, it's food. Look at the ingredients. It's just food. But bring it to your doctor and have him look at it and get his thumb up and go to town, however you feel comfortable going to town. Listen, I'm always shocked. It's food. You can see on the bag. You feel good going to McDonald's. God knows. I don't know if you're aware of it, but go search it out. Go look at what's in there. Go look at what's in Coca-Cola. Go look at what your birthday goodies are filled with. Hot dogs, even bread, if you're not careful what kind of bread you buy. Go check out what's in there. You should bring that to your doctor. So that's my little tidbits. But yes, kids that are younger than 4, please bring them back to your doctor and make the decision according to your own needs.
Yeah, I know. I have a 2.5-year-old, and our doctor approved it for him. And then when I was pregnant, they looked at Shakeology, and the doctor she even said exactly what you just said. She's like, honestly, I only had a couple hours of actual training on nutrition, and I don't even know what half this stuff is. So I say no. But then she's like, go bring it to the midwives. So then both of my midwives were like, we love this. We love everything in Shakeology.
Oh my God. Both of them are wonderful.
Yeah,
it was wonderful to have that kind of honest response. That's so great.
Like, I have no idea what this is, so I say no, but go ask someone else who knows more.
Yes, that's so good. Cool. It's honest.
Yeah, that was really neat to see.
Yes.
But okay, so hopefully that puts to rest the Daily Sunshine question for you guys. I know my doctor loved all the ingredients in it for Hudson, so hopefully you guys will find the same. Let's see what other questions.
Really good for sweet tooth too.
Oh my gosh, he loves it. He loves the little shaker cup. He just, every day.
Yeah, and if you add like a little rack of cacao, or you can really go to town with that.
I love the chocolate one. When I was in the 80-day obsession test group, that was one of my meals to kind of curb my sweet tooth. It was so good.
That's right.
Okay, let's see. There's a couple questions filtered through here about the time frame of making Shakeology. You say to drink it within 30 minutes or have it within 30 minutes. Can you speak to why that's so important? Or, are you really not getting the nutrients after that 30 minutes, or what,
You can freeze it overnight. You can put it in the fridge overnight. One of the reasons is, as you know, water activates. As soon as you pour water in a powder, it activates the ingredients, evaporates. But a lot of it will be exactly the same, perfectly fine to ingest, but we cannot guarantee the texture and the separation, because it is real food. So just like if you leave an apple overnight, or any food sitting on a table for 5-6 hours, it's not quite the same, right? So it's the same challenge you'll encounter, but we don't recommend much more than that, simply because once you activate it slowly, it will not be what we can guarantee is within 30 minutes.
Okay.
So we can guarantee within 30 minutes that the ingredients levels are exactly the same as what's written on the bag. But after that, we can't. But the within 30 minutes is also mostly because the texture and the separation will start happening. So it might not be give you that the senses gratification.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that answers the question. I think some of you guys asked that same question.
Same thing with baking, by the way. Some of the constituents will remain, but the ones that are more delicate, like enzymes, will be destroyed with the heating as soon as you cook. Just like food, it won't be the same. This is why it's really great to go to our recipes and do the non-cook recipes, the dessert that you make, freeze it or fridge. Yes.
I think that was one of the questions that was emailed to you about, using it, cooking it, and using it to cook and stuff, and how much does that break down the ingredients?
Some of it stays and some of it doesn't stay.
Right. Just like
food. With those questions, think of food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's I think that's something that people forget about. They forget that everything in here is real ingredients. So I know that's a really great reminder. This is an interesting question. This is from Mariah, and I see her up here. She's on the call with us. But she said that she had watched a video. I don't know who this is, Kevin Armentrout, a video that he made about Shakeology being a scam, and obviously we don't agree with that. But
we have a lot of that.
I know, yeah, all over.
I really go and look around and stuff, but at some point I was like, I've got to start looking at what the heck this is all about. And thank God I'm,
thick skin.
I'm here. I know what I'm doing. I know what's going on. But it was like, holy cow.
I know.
Intense. Once people move on, it gets quite intense. But that's okay. That's human nature.
Yeah, they're missing out.
What was the question?
So anyway, so this guy did a video, and maybe I'll even let her unmute herself if she wants to ask the question. But basically, he said that if Shakeology really is like having 7 salads, the ingredients of a bunch of greens, I guess, that would be around 2,000 calories. So how do you make a shake with all the nutrients within about 160 calories?
I remember that guy. I actually sent that video to Mike. I know he had a wonderful, super long answer.
Oh, no way.
I wish I had it. But, think about it this way. Sometimes it's interesting because you can tell that people are not formulator.
Mm-hmm.
They make conclusion that makes sense as like someone who doesn't know, is not intimate with the process. But it's like the daily sunshine. We take the water out of the fruits, and it becomes super highly concentrated, and this is what the extraction methods, when I say highly delicate extraction method, you extract the antioxidants, the phytonutrients, you extract it from the food. So it's not a mountain because of some of those processes. That's the whole point. It's concentrated, and that's the challenge we have, is to bring the concentration. So all the it's not I don't want to get political, and I don't want to, I don't like to go against all these videos, but when you extract, you can get so much more than if you had to eat a pile. That's the whole point of all these powders, all these serums, all these extraction, all the things that you buy to supplement your diet, is that very reason, is to not have to eat 7 huge bowls of salad. It's to bring an extraction and have a high level of phytonutrients and antioxidants, just like the green tea, right? You can drink 7, 8 green tea, but then you have this high potent extraction powder of green tea that you can also add, as opposed to making the tea leaves and having a tea. It's very different. So that's all the nuances that comes with a formulation, with extractions, with the drying process. And that's the subtleties of these formulas, that when I listen to these videos, sometimes it's just like, I don't blame him. It's like I can see that some of them, I don't want to hone on this man, but some of these people don't have the whole picture. And they make their,
Assumptions.
non-professional assumption, which makes sense. And I think that's why they become so viral, because on that level, they do make sense, unless you go a little deeper and you start connecting the dots. And then you realize, oh yeah, of course, that's why we have all these powders on the market, right? Otherwise we would all have, our big salads a day and we're set. But that's not the reality of our world. So if you go a little closer and you do a little bit of research and you look into the logic, you see the difference in the nuances, which doesn't make him wrong, but he's not right.
Yeah. Mariah, does that answer your question?
He probably takes another powder from another company.
Probably.
Most of
in the video, he actually says, you should eat whole foods, but if you need to supplement, you could get some supplements. And we're like, wait, what?
And what are supplements from? Synthetic or natural? What is natural? Extraction from whole food, hopefully. Man-made, not man-made, but nature-made.
I appreciate it. That's perfect. I just was hoping that I could get a little bit more. My husband's a biochemist, and one of my coaches is actually a scientist as well, but they're not in nutrition. So they helped me formulate some answers to a lot of the questions that my challenger had. But
oh, that's so great.
But your explanation is perfect, and it does help us just kind of combat some of those things.
I know. It's ugly. I didn't realize how ugly. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This person has no qualifications or certifications in nutrition at all.
Are you sure he's not selling something else?
I don't know.
It's so, and it's okay, right? Unfortunately, this is the name of the game. You get, for whatever reason, and I'm okay with that. You certainly are not happy and you move on. Yeah, this is why I don't like playing that game. I don't like talking about a specific product. And I'm always reminding myself when I'm not there. I'm not in that line. I'm not a formulator over there. So let me just focus on what I do and what I know and talk about that. Because I don't like to get into that, and it distracts me from my focus, my own focus and my own knowing, and spending energy in honing that. So this is why I welcome pointy questions like this one from you guys. I prefer that you hone your own sense of security and safety concerning our products, so that you feel comfortable, and you keep asking until you do. And if you don't, so be it. It's okay. Move on. Go somewhere else. It's all right. I just don't like this it's like when you're in a thing with someone and you're about to say something really tough, and there's an aspect of you, I'll call it the heart, that says, oh, don't say that. Oh, don't go there. You'll regret it. You might be right or whatever, but you'll regret it, because something about that approach is wrong. And then you say it and you feel like crap about saying it. So it might make you like win whatever conflict you had with each other, like you got the upper hand, but you walk away with your tail beneath, between your legs. It's the same thing. Like I remember when I spent a few months, because I wanted to see what you were dealing with. Because I'm quite isolated. I really do what I just said I do. I really focus on honing my integrity, my honesty, my work, my research, my why, and what has actually enhanced my life. And I share what has enhanced my life with you in the hope that it enhances yours, understanding that we're all in different places in our lives with different hierarchy, different ages. So we change, right? So I get that. So I'm not offended if somebody walks away. It's all good. I just do my thing. So I really don't go there. The feeling of it is like a bad fight. I don't care to have the upper hand with those kind of conflicts, because it leaves me yucky no matter what. So I remember going and looking at all these videos, and I was just like, the ugliness of it all. And most of the time, bless their heart, they were selling something else. So God knows in 3 years, when that thing is not perfect, it's like looking for the perfect mate, right? Well, what is that perfect person that has zero flaw, that is 100% what you want it to be for 50 years. Like, it's impossible. We are all flawed. So it's, you can get disgruntled and get a divorce or work through it, right? So I'm always looking with the platform. To me, you're a long-term relationship. You're a marriage. And I know the whole company feels that way. We're not here to make a quick buck. Trust me, guys, what we do is so hard, costs us so much more money and sweats. If we wanted to just make a quick buck, there's a much easier way to do that. As you know, because you're here selling this shake, it's not an easy feat, but it's the real deal. And I'm not saying it's the only real deal. It's the real deal that we created. That's all. And it worked for you, and here you are now. So that's where I go with all these videos. And that being said, if something gets to you like this particular video, by all means, bring it. But I don't play that vilifying game. I don't go there in any aspect of my life. And so, but I get it. And, but, you know, just educate yourself. Go a little deeper or find out about the source. This is why, like, when we do research, the very beginning of, let's say, looking at one ingredient is we look at the research on paper. That's the very beginning. Because if it looks bad there, we won't go. If the research is created from funding from the very company who's selling, obviously it's biased. So it may be right, it may be not right, then we have to investigate. But it makes us be more vigilant, right? So be the same when something gets to you, just like this lady did. She went and reached out to people that may have a better idea and got some clarity there. So don't just let the ugliness, the aggression of what the purpose of these videos are get to you. It's almost like if there's a divorce, it doesn't mean that divorce was not meant to be, but don't you feel much better if you are agreeable and kind and understanding that the responsibility lays in both parties and you were able to be kind to each other and just say, oh, it's okay. That's it. That's the ride. And you move away. So to me, this whole thing, the way it goes sometimes, it's just like a bad patterns we have as human beings. It's like gossiping. We all do it, and we all know there's no purpose to gossiping. It serves nothing. It doesn't enlighten you. It doesn't give you more information. It doesn't bring more clarity. It just brings more violent emotions in you. And in some ways, it makes you feel better about yourself, even though it has nothing to do with your value. But if you have a gossip on someone else, you feel like somehow you're the one who's got the gossip and you're better, like you're somebody. You know, there's a weird sense of that. But at the end of the day, it adds nothing to the worth of you, right? So it's the same thing about all that stuff. Was it too long or was it helpful?
That was inspirational.
I'm trying to help you, not only technically in terms of the technical answer, but emotionally. How do we navigate all these moments that come at us when we are sharing and selling a product? Because it's part of the selling world. All these, I call them like old paradigm. And it's a paradigm that I love not having on our platform. Like, we don't do well by taking from someone else or putting someone else down. We actually do well by enhancing someone else's worth and their health and their well-being and hopefully their finance as well, to whatever degree they're willing to invest. You want to invest most of your day, so be it. You want to invest just a few hours, so be it. But hopefully whatever level you're at, it enhances you. And I love that. I love that this platform is about that. It's about bringing someone up, bringing yourself up first, self-worth, know thyself, heal thyself, and from the well of well-being that you are, you can now reach out and help someone else. And I think that's fantastic, and it's very needed in this world. You look at the political world where we barely get real information. It's all gossip. It's all pointing a finger, and you lose track of the importance aspect of all these very important levels of our government. So, it's all the same. All these patterns, no matter where you go in life, whether it's personal all the way to politics, it's old paradigm patterns that I think we all need to shift out of. So I think that's why I went on and on, because I know you guys deal with a lot of that.
I love that. I think people forget about that, because we talk about the fitness side so much that they forget about this part, as like you just said, kind of filling your well and making sure that your inside is good so that you can actually pour out onto other people. And that's such a whole part of it, not just the fitness side. I love that. I think that is so
intense. This is why we have you guys. We're dealing with human beings. We are complex. So when someone comes to you, they might have they might have tried a dozen things, it doesn't work. They may be very sick. Who knows where their self-worth is at? So they're suspicious, they're scared. It's also, you're asking them to change on the very, very, what's the word? Intrinsic, very gut level. We're asking them to change emotional patterns, basically. When you look at food and exercise, it's about emotions, it's about all the patterns you took to cushion the blows or to deal with emotional challenges, relationships, fears. So it's a loaded place in a human being that you are tackling. So why would anyone expect that to be easy for most of the time? It's never easy. You don't know where that person has been once they get to you. So it's okay that they're doubtful, suspicious, aggressive a little bit, attacking a little bit. They're scared to change. We all know how frightening it could be. No matter how destructive our life is, we know the destruction as opposed to the unknown possible enlightened beingness of what that change could bring to your life, which most of you have experienced. So it's a ride. It's not easy. So you're not in an easy place where you're selling a toy, where it's just fun and easy and cheap, and it's a toy. There's no need for deep introspection and change in selling a toy. You're going right where the boo-boos are. So expect a little bit of, reticence.
That's great. Oh, so inspiring. Everyone's like, it's so inspirational.
Oh, good.
No, it's good. We've worked a lot on that and just, enlightening each other on what all the ingredients are and why it's so important, and remembering their experience with it, which is so cool. I know we have a lot of people on our team who have dealt with, Crohn's disease or Lyme disease. My mom, struggles with Lyme disease and just, different illnesses like that. And this has radically transformed their health and their just ability to kind of get through their day, which is just so cool. And it speaks to all of what you just shared, the actual process of getting all of these really, really full, whole ingredients, which is
that's right. Potent. Think of it. All the stuff we want from an ingredient and all the stuff we don't want from an ingredient. That's a big one.
That's amazing. Well, and Kim, I don't know if you can see these chat, but Kim, you can unmute yourself if you want. But
because I can't read anything.
Oh, yeah. So Kimmy just posted, and she's actually one of the girls on our team that has Crohn's disease. And she said, I have Crohn's disease, and I've been without medication for years now. I'm in remission and the healthiest I've ever been. And I feel like Shakeology was the first real nutrients my body was actually able to absorb in years. And I had no idea how extremely fatigued I was before I started drinking it. So thank you.
Wow, that is amazing.
Chills. That's amazing.
That is great. That's great. Yeah, that's cool. You know what? That's it. That is it. That's why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand also that the co-creator, Darren and I, we all both came from a place where, and I'll continue speaking of myself, the birth of the idea, the concept of Shakeology came from me having gone through hell with my health. Mm-hmm. And through these very ingredients that are now in the Shakeology, way back then when I was cooking them at my house, where I bought the bark, I got the plants, the herb. I had to do a rudimentary, serum, or there was not even a shake back in those days. It was just these potions that I would make. And I healed myself through these very ingredients that are now in the shake. This is what Carl saw me do at home, and he asked me to create one with the help of Darren for the company. So this shake is not just a technical idea in my head from having read a book and thinking it's fantastic, it's really because I know that these very ingredients, this very balance that we try to recreate in the Shakeology, is the very thing that helped me move through a very tough time in my life when I got broke because I couldn't go to work, I couldn't go to school, I lost all my clients, I had to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars on credit cards, then I had to pay my insurance, and none of my doctors were on the insurance because none of them could help me, so I had to go alternative, which was not paid by the insurance, and on and on and on. So I get the I'm broke, what the? So I did that, and I was in a very survival, tribal, fear place when I discovered all these ingredients that I'm now sharing with you. So it's from my own experience. This is not just, hey, let's do that, it looks cool, because because the pedigree sounds great. It's true. It's my experience. This is why I say I can only share what I could not design something completely different or whatever else, because this is what I know. That's what I learned through my experiences of living, and now I'm sharing my experiences, and that's why it's truthful to me. And that's all I'm claiming, that it's truthful to me. All I say, what's in there, Darren and I and the team, it's real and truthful to us, and that's my personal story. But they all have a story, and we can share that. And it's the same with you. You're there not because you're an expert. You're there because you had an experience, and that's potent. It's your experience. Nobody can debate that truthfulness. And also when you speak your experience, anybody can sense the truth behind that experience. It's true. It's real. And you can feel that. And this is why Carl asked you to just share your experience. So that's why we ask you to drink the shake or do the exercise, or ideally, as you know, do both, because eating healthy and moving your body is a no-brainer. We all know that's it. So we ask you to do that so that you are your own story, that you're truthful. It's just your story. You don't need to be a brain scientist. To share that story, don't doubt that that's potent.
I love that. I love that so much. I think I was just going to say that. I'm like, because we talk about sharing our story so often and really being behind. That's why I always tell them, they're like, what do I say about Shakeology? I'm like, talk about your experience. What has happened to your body from it? And it's really cool for me personally to hear your story and hear, like you just said, that potency behind it, and really truly see where it came from, that it, all started kind of with you and everything, which is really cool.
See it also as the missing links. All the things that are missing nowadays in our food, because of the poor soil quality, air quality, water quality. You can have an organic soil, but perhaps the water is toxic, not well. Of course, herbicide, pesticide, GMO, all that stuff. But because of all the challenge that planet Earth is going through right now, it is challenging to get these missing links, especially also prebiotic and probiotic and enzyme, digestive enzyme. All that stuff is challenging to get in our food nowadays. So think of the shake as the missing links. If only with the honest truth that we know that you don't get to us and asking us about the shake because you're eating a perfect diet. So it's only because you're just not eating right. You're eating all the wrong stuff and you know it. If only for that reason, it's not getting into your body. And the purpose is just to get it into your body somehow.
I love it. Thank you so, so much. I am so appreciative. This is so neat to get to talk to you and hear your story and hear you answer all of our questions. I hope that makes it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have 3 minutes. Anything that you see that needs to be addressed before I go?
There's one, it's a pretty loaded question, and one that I do feel like is supported on just all of our websites, just about what does each ingredient do? And I don't feel like we need to go into all that because we do.
Just think of that as a synergy of ingredients that enhance your ability to fight stress, emotional stress, physical stress, psychological stress. That's it. That's an easy way to think of it, because honestly, you can just Google every single ingredient and you'll see the immense amount of all sorts of stuff that it does that legally we can't even claim. So you can do your own research, but really it's a synergy of ingredients that are high in antioxidants, phytonutrients, adaptogens, and the basic macro ingredient, good balance of protein, fiber, and carbs. to keep you satiated and keep you regular. So that's it, really. These ingredients allow your body to be vibrant and healthy, to deal with stress better. That's a simple way to look at it.
I love that. Caitlin, hopefully that helps you a little bit. And I see Jenny posting other links and stuff, but there's so many good resources that we have in our team page in the back.
And go outside us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't just us. Go and Google these ingredients and see what it says about it. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, there is. I think that's pretty much it. I don't see many other anything, everything kind of is all tied into what we already talked about. So, but seriously, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And it was really neat for me to get to hear your story. I don't think in my 3 years of being a coach, I've really heard every single little thing that you said. So that's amazing.
Oh, good. Yes. So trust that it comes from my own experience.
I love it. That's absolutely inspirational. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. We are so appreciative.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.
Thank you. You as well. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.